just imagine, man. Just imagine, just by hypothetically, that a virus might strike this planet, and then they start shutting down borders, and then or a war strike on the other side of the planet, and then the price of fuel goes up, and then your little banana that comes in a boat that costs you whatever it is go start costing 10 times, 20 times more. And then we will understand the importance of growing food in your backyard,
Our potential, it's exponential. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another podcast. Today we have a legend in the studio. We have Thiago from Syntropic Solutions. Thiago, thanks for coming.
Oh, thank you. That was
man.
Kind of introduction.
Of
Thank
course.
you.
Bro, so you were a syntropic agroforestry pro specialist.
I wish. Been doing that for a while, but
Yeah, man. So by the way, Thiago just landed from Australia. You live in Australia.
yeah, I was born in Brazil, but I've been living in Australia for 17, 18 years now.
17, 18 years?
Yeah.
Cool. You like it out there?
They call it an Australian an Aussie, huh? And I'm not a Brazilian, I'm not an Aussie, I'm a Brazzy.
I like that. And do you like their culture out there in Australia? Like, what's it all about? I've never been.
Man, it's so cool. Like, it's all around lifestyle, Like, the days start early, the beach is already full, good surf. I love skydiving, so I live close to the airfield. So for me, that's why I'm there.
Cool, man.
Good beaches, good surf, good.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So tell people about what you do, because you do what Urban Abundance does too, man. Help people grow food.
Yeah, I think that's what you do too. Not just growing gardens, but growing gardeners, Because for me, don't need to grow gardens. Nature knows what she's doing. It's more about informing people and be with people through the early journey, so they passion grow as the plant grows, and they intertwine, and they kind of have that relationship with love and caring for the plants, and the plants love and care for them.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. I think that's super important too, that like guiding, early on in that journey, like you said.
Oh, it doesn't work if it's just a one-off. You go there, put the plants on the ground. The plants will do what they got to do. I tell people that creating a garden, it's like making babies. It's bloody awesome when you're making it, but the care of it.
The follow through.
Yeah, the follow through for the first few years,
Interesting.
will tell you exactly how your kid or how your garden will be in the future.
Wow.
And it's like an orgasm when you make a garden. It's love, man. It's just so beautiful. Look at that. That looks so neat. I'm going to have that. But after you put the plants on the ground, I say that 95% is about management. How you manage it to keep in a way that can look beautiful, but also can provide it to us too. So that's where the change between not only doing agroforestry, we start doing edible landscaping designs. So where we turn normal landscape projects into edibles. So got inspired by many people around the planet. I don't want to
Cool, man.
miss all the names, but there are people from all over this planet doing amazing things. Then I think that putting that into people's backyards or people's farm or urban space, that's what it's all about.
That's it.
When I get back to Australia, I'll be doing a talk on the future food in urban centers, in
cool.
urban cities in Australia. So the work that you do is
man. Thanks. Yeah. You too, dude. And I totally agree. Like, tell people, because you're exactly right, man. We're growing gardeners too. Like, we're bringing perspective. We're bringing all this this knowledge that was so lost in our civilization, right? So tell people why what we do is so valuable, man. Because we were talking about it before this podcast. like your workshop, you put on workshops teaching people about this stuff, you know?
Yeah, that's part of what we do. We run workshops all over the world.
Which are amazing, by the way, like super fun.
Oh, you had so much fun. It was fun, huh?
I mean, we seeded a forest, right? We had a blast. Yeah.
It was. Yeah, I call it,
But
it's like a big party that we do with our friends, putting everyone together to create a garden. But yeah, we run workshops and we do designs and we work with landscapers, architects, urbanists, try to create a place that's not only pleasant for the eyes, but also is productive as well. And the workshops is part of that early education, getting people involved in the process. And you came to the first one that we did here in US.
Amazing.
And from now on, will be pretty much every 2-3 months we're going to be running something in different parts of US.
Yeah. So tell us, because I heard you put on one in Costa Rica, right? With some people I know.
Yeah, we
How was
did
that?
in Ecuador, Costa Rica, India, Pacific Islands, lots of them in Australia. And that one in Costa Rica was awesome because I met so many people that lives in US in different parts of here, and they kept saying, "Hey, you gotta go there, you gotta teach there." And one
in the US?
Yeah, in US.
Cool.
Yeah. And then Matthew Reese that came to that first
Shout
workshop.
out, Matt.
Yeah, he's a bloody legend. And for me, I don't want to just run a workshop if I don't have a living classroom or a place where I can show people how the system should look like when they plant, or most of all, how to manage it. And Matt's doing such a great job with his farms, his mango farms, just abundant, looks beautiful.
You wouldn't, it's amazing. And that's your classroom. That's what you're saying. Like, so because that's so important. Like you're saying, you need the context, right?
Yes.
To be able to see what's going on, or else you can't learn much, right?
Exactly. So in the agroforestry workshops that we run, is all based on context. So there are people that they just want to produce vegetables. There are people that they just want to do the small veg garden at the backyard. There are people that they want to improve their farm. There are people that they want to increase or diversify the production at their farm. So if you're dealing with animals, if you're dealing with fruit trees, if you're dealing with vegetables, and each system that we design is very context-based. So even if you're doing, we're doing a job for L'Oreal in Brazil.
The company?
They need to meet some targets for ESG and biodiversity. So, and then we propose something like, let's change the whole shared space where we, instead of just having beautiful landscape, we can put mangoes, bananas, and pawpaws and everything there, so people can interact and have beehives and
at their like campus and
at their office.
Where is that?
In Brazil.
Cool, man.
You
do these designs around the world.
So that's fun. The plan too.
And you want to, but by the way, guys, pawpaw, you call pawpaw
papaya.
Yeah, that's a papaya for everyone in Florida. What's funny is because all these plants, you probably see it traveling, they're all called different things everywhere.
Everywhere,
it's
man.
It's the same thing. Yeah.
That's why I call, this is a legendary plant. That's another legendary plant. Because even the scientific names are so hard to learn,
It's true.
Yeah.
And that's how you really identify them, right?
And that's what I like about it. Needs to be simple. It needs to be fun, so
it has to be.
Yeah, otherwise it's already hard to work in the sun. You gotta have fun.
Totally.
If you are day in and day out in the sun, in the rain,
And I think it is because it is fun also. Like you're moving your body. Like I finish work, even if it is 100 degrees out, I feel good. I'm feeling good.
Yeah.
It's how humans are supposed to really be like feeling and living.
One of the ways that I tell people when I'm teaching is that the Avatar movie, they had the ponytails where they connect with the land, with nature.
Yeah, I know exactly.
We have our hands, man. It's like has all the connections, all the connectors. We just put our hands in the ground or around plants. And one of the theories that I have as well is that we we are a walking battery of energy.
Wow.
So we eat all this food, so we have energy to move around and do things and shift more energy in this planet, okay? And when you go to a forest is just a bigger battery of energy that's been accumulating, taking energy from the sun, minerals, water, and they provide the food that we eat. And when you're walking there, it's just like, oh, wow, I'm recharging. It's like when you put your Tesla to recharge. It's like us walking in nature, walking in the forest. It's just, that's how.
Totally. You feel it, yeah. They call that forest bathing. You've heard that, yeah, or like grounding or these things. But it's true. It's a big container of energy. It's a battery.
Every indigenous civilization lived in nature, with nature. And even if you go to the remaining tribes around the planet, the first lesson, one of the most powerful lessons that you learn is that we are all connected, that we are one, that nature is everything, and yeah.
How do we get so far away from that, Thiago? I mean, you've been doing this a while. Like, we're so disconnected in our, in society, I know, I have a long way to go too, and like, but it's so disconnected. How did that happen?
I don't know how it happened. Like, there are fragments of this story that we hear here and there, and but I remember, and possibly you remember too, our grandparents or our great grandparents, when they used to go around and share food with the neighbors, because there was actually no like Walmart or all these supermarkets out there, like most of the food was growing on the backyard or in a farm very close to, and all the soap and everything that people used to make at home, and where I used to live in Brazil, there was very common that once a week or once a month there was that car or that truck, the milkman,
you guys like dairy in Brazil, the cheeses and stuff.
Then so it's not very far that we are so disconnected.
It's true.
So
we were growing all that, and then we slowly outsourced it, right? All those things to Walmart, all the whatever corporations.
But now it's becoming trendy again. People realize that when you have all the money in the world, you cannot buy healthy, as if you were just there working with nature and eating the good food and be mentally healthy, You see all this new age natural medicine and forest bathing, For me, it was just like mom saying, get out of the house, go play. That's when we're just climbing trees, and that's,
It's interesting, though, what you're saying. Like, we're like spinning our wheels to work and make all this money, and then you realize, oh, man, I'm not fulfilled. I'm not like, what am I doing this for, We're missing a lot of those.
And a lot of people that comes to my workshops at the moment, in the last, I would say, 5 years, it's people who they could have been CEOs. They were CEOs, or they are CEOs of companies, but they don't want to work in something that are destroying anymore.
That's right.
They want to work in something that is restoring. It's reconnecting. It's has a positive impact. And architects and landscapers, engineers, and I get more and more. One of the places that I do workshops, that I run the workshops in Costa Rica, is Rancho Massatal. By the way, guys, if you have a chance to go and see that place, it's amazing.
Okay.
They teach natural building as well.
Cool.
And man, you see like
interesting
architects from all over the world that go there to learn how to build with natural materials. That's how we used to build not long ago. You know what I mean?
Cool, man. Like terracing and all these.
Like making house like earth ships and stuff like made of.
Got you. Very cool.
Yeah.
I want to go to Costa and do some of these podcasts, man. Like with Brandon and some.
Oh yeah, the guys
do it there.
Yeah. So there was Peter Canaris, Matthew Reese, and Brandon. They all came to the first workshop that I did in Costa Rica. And a bunch of other, like JR, who came here as well. That's working with us.
He was there?
Yeah, he was there too.
Man.
And
yeah, he was on the podcast.
Yeah, he's a legend.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Dude, so cool. Yeah, and Pete, I gotta have him on because he's doing big things too, man.
Yeah, I love Pete, man. Pete. One of the things that he says that I keep sharing with people when they you see that lawn or that grass growing around the house, he keeps
Yeah.
saying, "Don't be a grasshole, let's plant food." I love it.
Yeah, me too, man. It just says it all right there.
So I can see that here and in California as well, there are really cool people doing cool stuff,
Yeah, man.
And there is Farmer D as well that I've been hearing a lot about him as
Okay.
well.
Farmer D?
Yeah, Farmer D. He does
Cool.
planning for all these agrihoods.
Nice. Yeah, agrihood's an interesting concept, right? It's bringing back. It's like, hey, here's the community garden. Here's the food forest for the community as a whole, right?
It's
Have you done any of
no,
this?
the way that I've been studying a lot about it lately, and from what I understand is it's like living in the city but in a farm environment. So there are clusters of there are agrihoods of many kinds, like different designs.
Sure.
But there is one in particular, Serembe, that is in Georgia, I
Yeah,
think.
I've heard of this.
That what they do is they work with the landscape, like in that part of the land, because it's a little bit more steep, and they did some sort of townhouses on that part of the land. That it is where the barn and with the horses and the cows, and on that part is like the studios, and so and then they have like fancy restaurants and gardens everywhere, and most of the food that's produced is for the community.
Wow,
Yeah, it's
right. So they work with the land before they go and tear it up. I love that.
Instead of like clearing everything and putting blocks of land, they just work around. There are cool ones in Costa Rica as well that Brandon's working few of those. Yeah,
he does that out there.
Yeah.
Shout out to agrihood and Brendan, what he's doing.
And all the legends out there that are doing something
Let's
cool,
go.
You guys rocking,
Let's go, Thiago, tell him. So cool. Yeah, man, because I feel the changes too, and like it's happening. People, there are pockets of people making it happen, and I appreciate you coming out, Thiago. But I would be remiss if I didn't start asking you about about plants.
Yeah.
And what you do, and like it's so cutting edge and so cool. Tell people about syntropy.
Yes, syntropy is the opposite of entropy. Okay, so entropy is the second law of thermodynamics, where systems, they move from complex to simple, and they keep losing energy.
They're losing energy.
Yeah, if you keep losing, you're moving towards terminal death. You're moving towards chaos, towards stress, and on the other hand, we have syntropy. That's the opposite. That's systems that grows from simple to complex and accumulate energy.
And accumulate energy.
Yeah, so if system keeps accumulating, they're moving towards abundance, towards complexification, towards, how can I say, towards peace, towards love, towards
peace.
Yeah, towards peace. Because if the system has more parts working and it's accumulating energy, you don't need to be under stress. And I believe that in this planet, we have these two forces working all the time, entropy and syntropy. And within syntropic agroforestry or syntropic agriculture, we learned from this Swiss German called Ernest Gutsch. He lives in Brazil. He's been there since the 1980s. He was a researcher that in his research, he was working for a company how to modify plants genetically to work against pest and disease. And early in his research, he learned that everything that he was doing, he was kind of hitting the wall all the time. There was a natural force that was overcoming everything that he was changing the genetics. And then he went back to square one and started researching what actually makes plants resilient, what makes plants strong and abundant.
Yeah.
And then he went to research about all the indigenous civilizations, how they used to grow food, what makes the civilizations collapse. And on his class, he talks a lot about the edge of the universe, how civilizations collapsed. And in his teachings, he went through that journey and understood what is this mechanism, forest, and what the forest does to work in harmony with each in every element. What is this system forest and how it works? In the very deep understanding of succession and stratification, that is time, how long each plant likes to live for, and what is the space in time that they occupy in that ecosystem forest. And then I think for me, what was the best thing that he did is he tried to put that in a system that is farmable, you know.
And that's what syntropy is.
And syntropy is understanding how the ecosystem forest, how the system forest with all this, its complexity
mechanism,
and how it accumulates energy, why the forest is so abundant, and using that in a form of agriculture.
Yeah. And it is deep. And if you guys are like missing it or whatever, like, because there is all this stuff, succession and stratification, all this stuff. And it seems complex, but it is complex, man.
It is complex. It's not complicated.
It's not complicated. Exactly. It's simple. No, I feel that, dude. And the closer you get to it, the clearer it becomes. But here's the thing. Like, we lost that understanding of the forest mechanism. Is that what you're saying? There's like a way it's supposed to function, and we lost that.
I think that we try to simplify it to say, oh, that's too complex. Let's say I want to grow mangoes. Yeah. How the mango works and how can I get the best mango, but just the mango itself. And then how the bananas work and try to isolate it. So we are simplifying the system, and then we lost that complexity that work around the symbiotic relation between plants, you know. I was telling you a story that I think that not long ago, a couple of 100 years ago, we were all farming with all the forces of nature. And then grass wasn't something easy to manage. And someone had this crazy idea, say, can we actually kill all this grass forever? And then since that point in time, we've been putting so much energy, time, and money trying to eradicate the grass, the weeds.
Yeah.
And it's been hundreds of years, and we haven't succeeded yet. So, and no one decided
the grass is winning.
Because
it's true.
I've never seen a place where they use. I've seen people burning it. I've seen people
we do that.
Paving it. I've seen people doing all kinds of shit, and the grass keeps coming back, you know. And no one thought about say, can we actually work with this instead of actually try to fight it?
Yo, that's what I learned at that workshop. There were a couple of things that just totally threw, like, even me, like, who does this every day, like, you totally shifted my perspective when you said, hey, we're all fighting this grass all day long. How can grass is the most important part of the system. How can we use it?
Yeah.
How can we use the grass?
So
how can we use the grass?
So the way that I learned, because bringing this knowledge to Australia, where permaculture was born, you know, all this, trying to put that frame that I learned, because in Brazil, the way that we learned, it was like, hey, there is a workshop here, 40, 50 people, let's go out there and boom, 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 work in 4 days, and then people stopping and explaining it. It was very dynamic, but going to Australia, they want to have PowerPoints, you know, they want to, explain to you, I don't get it, this shit doesn't work like that. Explain to me how it works, you know? And then how can I understand easy enough to explain this?
Yeah.
And then I start, reflecting the organism forest, the organism plants, the system, agricultural system with the body system. And that's how I start teaching a lot of how the energy that we get from into our body comes from the food that we eat, and how the forest gets it from the photosynthesis. So getting all this knowledge and putting that in a way that I'm teaching in 2 or 3 days, the principles and foundations of it, so people can go home and try to apply them in their own context.
Beautiful, man. And it's a way you relate it to their bodies. It's a way for them to understand it, like how the forest relates to their body.
Everyone has one, and
Yeah, it's pretty easy to understand. But yeah, man, back to the like, because I don't want to throw people off with the grass, using grass to our advantage, because dude, it's so ridiculous. Every gardener in America, I'm sure everywhere, they're fighting grass all day long. And when I was working on farms, that's all we were doing was, weeding, man, the edge of the row, the grass. And it's like at mats. So tell me if this is like a way you could use grass, clumping grasses that don't spread at the edge of your rows to make a barrier. It makes like a mat. Is that
the idea is, there is many reasons. So when we design a system, we try to cater for the main crop. Let's say if we're doing a mango crop, we try to see how was that mango placed in its original environment. Okay, for example, let's say if it's not a mango, it's a heart. If I'm taking this heart out of here and I'm going to place in your body, it would be very wise for me to put that heart as close as possible to its natural original position. Otherwise, if I flick it like a little 5 degrees, the connection is not going to work, and the system might even be alive, but it will be not on its optimum conditions. Okay, so when I'm removing a mango tree and I'm placing that in a backyard or in a farm, I need to put it as close as possible. When I say put it as close as possible, is what is the type of soil that mango likes to grow naturally? What are the plants that are on top of it? What are the plants that are underneath of it? And when you see mangoes growing naturally, it grows within a group or community of plants. There are plants on top, plants that they are deciduous, that let the leaves fall and the sun comes up. It's a dynamic system. And then when we try to put in our backyard, it's burning the full sun
in the
with
middle of the
no
yard.
friends. And then then the grass will come and say, hey, we need friends here. We need to protect this. So instead of fighting the grass, what we do is we put different type of grass that not only can help that structure, the natural structure, but also can, when we chop that grass and put that around the mango, that could work as a biomass production as well.
That's right. It feeds the tree, the grass. Wow. So it doesn't only help the structure holding the space.
There are many benefits. There is like when you prune the grass, like you release growth hormones that the mango next to it gets some of that growth hormones. So
and guys, this is what we're talking about. Yeah, energy accumulation, man. Like and what you're saying, like it's very permaculture, right? The problem is the solution. Like grass, it's such a problem for us. It's like, all right, let's grow vetiver grass and use it.
I believe that all these methodologies, they are like tools that you gotta have in your tool belt to use when it's needed.
I love that. I love how you said that earlier too. There's teachings from all over, not just Syntropy.
Yeah.
That you want to put into your course, because there's people doing all sorts of cool stuff.
That's it, man.
Not being like rigid on one. There's different stuff in your tool belt.
Oh, I see. Like, let's say you get clippers or you get a saw. You see a plumber using a saw for something. You see a builder using a saw for something else. You see a gardener using the same saw for something else. So it's the same tool that could be used in different ways. So these methodologies, they are like those tools, depending on the context, I've seen people that are teaching permaculture for 20 years. They never get to the garden. They think it's natural buildings,
Yeah,
and I see people that they love dealing with natural waste, so, and energy efficiency. So, and I see people doing biodynamics that they only work with animals,
Right.
So they are just tools that we can use in our tool belt whenever we need.
I love it, dude. So what's your dreams? What's your goals? What do you want to do with Syntropic Solutions in your life? Anything? What are your what are your dreams?
Man, it keeps evolving. I think I want to be part of the solution. That's clearly that I had so many opportunities to deviate from. It's hard to be green when, like I said, now it's becoming trendy and there are more people wanting to do that. But not long ago, There was something. Oh yeah, all those hippies there. Oh no, no, all these greeners over there. There was not many people, not much of an industry,
It's
let's
true.
say.
Yeah.
And so my dreams, I really want to reforest the desert. That's part of my mission here. I'm waiting for that call from that guy from Dubai saying, "Hey, can you make it rain here?" I say, "Yeah, we can make it rain."
Let's plant bananas.
Yeah, not bananas, but cactus. Starting with cactus.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
But then and
and then transition to the succession, but that's part of my dreams.
Cool.
But early, let's say, short-term dreams is to do a lot of agroforestry here in the US and have as many systems looking as beautiful as it can, so more people can learn, so the knowledge can go everywhere.
I love that. That's a beautiful vision. I do too. That exact what you're saying, like more like spots like, the jobs you've worked on, Matt's place. Like if we multiply that, like that's powerful. More agroforestry systems.
Was that you that said that it's all these underground people doing? If we are the underground, we are like the mushrooms.
Yeah.
When we pop out of the ground, the mycelium will be already built. The connections will be already there.
Exactly, because we've already inoculated it.
That's it.
Yo, I love that. By the way, can you say your joke around that?
Nah, because the way that we plant, as I said about the mango again, like if we're planting a mango, the mango comes with all that ecosystem around it, and scientifically to explain it to a bunch of people who just want to put plants on the ground.
Get the mango now.
Yeah, no, I need to make in a way that's fun for them to understand, and it's fun for me to explain it too. So I tell people that when we're planting, we're making the best underground party ever. Okay, we're gonna put between 20 to 100 plants per square meter, and then we have that full-on underground party, and we're gonna put a lot of organic matter to feed the fungi, and the fun girls will come too, and then you have seeds popping out of the ground anytime, and then there is seeds that we sprout on the same day, seeds that we sprout in 30 days, some seeds we sprout in 2 years, but all this underground party. But the way that we do, I don't know if you've been to a good party before. It's the party that's full, When you go to a party where you put one seed and there is one guy there, it's not fun, man.
That's not fun, no.
You gotta make an
underground
party full of
fungi.
I
don't know if it hit there as hard as it hit at your workshop, man. That was so funny. You were like, guys,
but
stop. We need an underground party. It's the fungi.
I built it up. You just like, tell me that joke now.
Oh, it's ridiculous. All right, back to it. It has to be fun, man. It has to be fun. It is. But all right, cool. So, dude, really, I'm getting at with what you're saying, which is so vital to people putting plants in the ground and growers, I think, is understanding what does this plant want to look like 50 years from now, or like where does it want to live, and it's understanding what the system's going to look like in the future, right? And setting it up for success. Am I getting to that right?
When we design the system, we take into consideration the needs of the owner of the place, the capacity of, like how many people, how many hours, what's the space. So we try to cater for that. And we also try to make it easy to manage, functional as well. And so we put the whole 3D plan for them, how it's supposed to look like in the early days, how it's supposed to look like in 2 years, how it's supposed to look like in 5 years plus, 10 years plus. And then it's up to the management to go and keep taking out the plants that's supposed to be taken out, prune the plants that needs to be pruned. So keep the plants where they're supposed to be in terms of sunlight requirement. And that's part of what we do, yeah.
Cool, man. Yeah, the management is most of it, right?
Yeah. 95% of any garden to be successful is all about the management.
But you got to get started.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's it. I love seeing kids, man. Kids, they're so connected. As soon as you start working with kids, they learn so fast.
It's true.
Yeah.
There's no like block, maybe. It's
Yeah. There is no old. They don't need to forget anything to relearn again. I think
Yeah.
as we come into anything with a preconception, and then we need to let go of something to learn something new.
That's it. That's so beautiful. Yeah, it's true. I do. I feel like that's what we do with our clients. Like that's what the work is, helping
So
unlearn what we thought it should be.
and the work that you do is most around here, Jupiter, or you.
Yeah, Palm Beach County. Yeah, Broward County.
That's nice, man. Such a good
It's a-
place. Like,
Yeah, I'll have to show you the lighthouse and the farm, obviously. And
nice.
yeah, man.
And is there much like organic food growing in the area here, or?
Great question, man. I'm sure you've been all sorts of parts of the world. It's pretty behind, I'd say. There's not a lot of like all the farms are kind of being squeezed out by developers.
Yeah.
Because it's like Palm Beach County money. That's how I see it, at least. There's not as much going on as like other cities, maybe.
Okay.
But like we start now.
Okay. A lot of the food comes from the islands on the Caribbean as well, doesn't
That's
it?
right. Our bananas, they all come from Ecuador and all these places. Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
It is, because such a there is land, there is good weather, There is.
It's not integrated into our lives, Thiago. What do you think?
But just imagine, man. Just by hypothetically,
Yeah.
that
Tell me.
a virus might strike this planet, and then they start shutting down borders, and then
I've never heard of
or a war strike on the other side of the planet, and then the price of fuel goes up, and then your little banana that comes in a boat that costs you whatever it is go start costing 10 times, 20 times more, and then we will understand the importance of growing food in your backyard.
Wow, dude, that's powerful. Yeah, that's exactly right. And that some people think we're immune from that. I think, like, when the truth is, we're very not. We're not invincible, man.
I was in Belize when COVID struck, and then I said, they're not gonna shut down the whole world. Come on, I'm not changing my flights.
Yeah,
Dude, I got first time I came to Miami, it was like ghost town. There was no one at the airport. That was scary, man.
Oh, that's a trip.
I got to Australia 2 days later. They cut the borders. No one was traveling anymore. So,
well, you got back to home.
yeah, I got back home. But how crazy was the whole thing?
Totally. The whole world.
The whole world was affected, and then
talk about no one talks about it anymore, dude.
that's crazy, isn't it?
It is crazy.
That we shut down all the borders, and and even to keep all the supply chain was a hassle because no one could work.
They wouldn't let us.
We're still actually catching up with the whole supply chain problems,
It's true.
and cost of things, and that's why I see the importance of knowing some skills.
That's exactly right. Yeah,
Be
I couldn't agree more.
a gangster gardener,
Yeah.
learning how to.
You know that.
Yeah, man.
That's it.
What's more gangster than in a food desert, knowing how to grow your own food?
Eating mangoes. You're the gangster. That's it.
And everyone's like fucking fat as fuck,
Yeah,
and you're just eating a delicious mango, and and growing. No, like knowledge is power.
You're cool.
Believe,
You're
yeah.
cool. You're cool. It's cool, man. I think it's cool too.
Yeah, I think
it's
that's
cool.
It's fucking cool, man. I love it. I love it.
You pump me up, Thiago. Dude, so what we have limited time, man. We could do this for so long, but I want to hear what got you into this. Did you want to share that at all?
Man, I live in Byron Bay. It's how can I say? I would say that is a mecca for organic products, and everyone wants to be green. Everyone wants to learn more about what's how can I say, what's in harmony with the planet. And there was all these friends around me who were permaculture teachers and biodynamics teachers, and I was there like living the life as everyone else, partying. And then I realized that I want to go in a different route, and I want to learn more where I was spending my energy and what. And then I started working, learning about energy and food. And then I went to see the conventional farming operations. They were making money, but was like I didn't want to stay there either. Neither, like being in the middle of big bales of poison and sprays, and I just then it sent me in a different route to see what was good. And then I found this Swiss German in Brazil.
What was good? Cool. That's when you found Ernest.
Yeah. And there was not much. Actually, in 2010, 11, 12, there was not much on YouTube. Wasn't big at all at that time, Like, we couldn't find much.
Isn't it amazing?
Videos.
Now we could go and, like, learn all about syntropy. And
but even nowadays, you see fragments of the knowledge. And because it's so complex, it's hard to put everything in a box and hey, that's the knowledge of. It's like 200, like as some people say, 4.5 billion years of knowledge that we want to learn in a lifetime,
like right now in a workshop.
So, and then I saw this Swiss German in Brazil who's doing an amazing job, and I went to one of his workshops and I fell in love with it, man. Like the way that they explain how everything's connected, but it's not like, ooh, everything's connected, like I said, how? Okay, the water cycle, the energy cycle, the plant's life cycle, the food that you eat, and everything's so connected, and there is a reason behind that, and then you understand the cycle of the forest. Within the cycle of the forest, every plant that we eat, they are part of that cycle, and there are different cycles of forest that goes through time. And when I understood that, it was like that, wow, I got high on knowledge, bro. I said,
at that workshop?
Yeah, I got high. Like I called myself at 2 a.m. said, far out, my God, man.
I know what you're talking about.
There is a solution. Like there is a solution.
I know what you're talking about.
And then I said, okay, what can I do to work with this? So I went back to Australia. I said, yeah, let's put in practice. What was that? Like it felt like I got hit by a wave that I really didn't learn anything. I was there, but just trying to get my head around. So I got back.
Did you plant? You were planting already at this point?
No, I was just learning, man. Wow. I was just learning, and I didn't know anything. I didn't even like vegetables, bro. Like seriously, at the time, I just want to learn something that was cool.
It finds us, right?
It finds us, and then I got back to Australia. I realized that I learned nothing, and I said, okay, next week I'm going back to Brazil. So I went back to Brazil, and I learned more with different people, like man, there are so many awesome teachers over there. Henrique Souza, João Pereira, Murilo Arantes, all Patricia Vaz, all those people who were with Ernest when they first started. And then
his pupils.
Yeah, and then they took the knowledge and explained to us. Because Ernest is 100 million years ahead, man. He talks about the paradox of the universe, how the ionosphere and the stratosphere and the whole thing, like, is connected. How the planet is connected to, like, to the solar system. How the solar system is connected to, and then he goes back to the tomato and say, "Oh, what did I miss in that?" And then we needed those people who worked with him that could explain that could.
Got you.
Give it to us in an easier way.
Because he was so deep. It's like learning creation, right?
Man,
that's what it is.
Man, there is one of the stories that for me was the best. Like I was there in a workshop because I was staying from workshop to workshop, and there was this property owned by Felipe Pazzini in Brazil. That's where Ernest was doing some. And there was this water spring that was like bogged. Like they blocked the water spring for many years, And then Ernest was walking around with a group of people, and then he found that swamp in a place that, just because he understood that that was not a place to have a swamp, he's like, something's wrong here. This is not supposed to be a swamp. And then he said, but that tree and that tree, this is a water spring. And then got the people to cut all the bamboos, and then he started marking where, because, and it makes sense when he explains it, because the river bed that is sand. So he was going and finding with his machete where was clay, was sandy, and said, oh, that's part of the, and then he went all the way up and got all of us to start digging, and we dug out all the water spring, all the channels, man, and unblocked the water spring. In 2 days, the water was drinkable again. And then we planted
in 2 days.
Dude, that was like next level, man. Like, was a lot of mud, a lot of work, but the one of the best times in my early journey. Like, I understood that was way deeper than I could ever possibly imagine, you know.
Totally. He did that on this. Did he know that before he showed up to the site, or was?
No, we were walking to
way.
do something else, and then that became the job, you know. And that was few workshops done in the same region, in the same area.
Wow.
But it's such a
that's a cool story.
good experience, like to learn how to find the birth of water, and so cool.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a few. I got really good stories about my learnings, man. It's like,
yeah, I could tell,
it's
man.
crazy how you can go there and work with people who's been doing that for 10, 20 years, and then get their perspective of it, and then apply that in different ecosystems.
That's right. You know what I heard the other day, Thiago?
Yeah.
So simple. Most people don't do this, but this is how we make it happen. Be successful, whatever you want to say, achieve what we want. First, we got to figure out what we want. What do we even want? And how do I get it? So simple. It's not rocket science. It's like, how do I get it? And usually the answer to that question is, who already has it?
That's
you know,
it.
I mean, who already has it? Like, go find Ernest, and people will do that, I'm sure, with you. Like, people are doing it to me, and they want to come and pick my brain, and it's a good move.
Man, I'm so happy to share with people, you know, like, tell people, come to 1, 2, 10 workshops and go and work with me when I'm working a project somewhere, because that's the best way to learn, you know.
That's it. Cool, man. Yeah.
And I totally agree with you. Just go and find the best people who are doing the best job around you, and that learning.
Doing it the best job too. Like, care. Like, when I see you talk about the plants, you're passionate, man. Like, you're. I could tell. Like, you know, the way you hold a shovel. It's like, that's what you do. That's what you do, and it's a lot of fun, man. I
love it.
I'm cut from the same cloth. Yeah, man. Is there anything you want to share with the people, man? I know we went deep dive for an hour. You give like multi-day courses on this. Is there anything you want to share? Anything you feel called to talk about?
This podcast is about like connecting people with nature, you know, and I believe that we are nature, and the more we learn, and I don't think that anyone should go to an ashram and stay there and reconnect with whatever God. They can do it too, but I believe that we can do that in the cities where we are, you know. I believe that cities could be this food paradise, you know. Imagine, instead of called Palm Cove or Palm or whatever it is, it could be the banana lane and the avocado streets, you know, and like,
there's already streets that way, but they probably cut the trees down at this point. Plant new ones.
Yeah, so I believe that we can create living space where most of the things that we need, it's already there, you know.
Beautiful.
And I went in my workshops, I ask people who wants to be sustainable, and 100% of the people just put their hands up. And that's when I come and say, okay, what if I ask you, how is your marriage? And they say, oh, it's sustainable. You know, how is your relationship with your mom? Oh, it's sustainable. I think in this planet, nothing is sustainable. Everything is regenerative. Everything's improving Every plant that comes here, they don't come to leave it the same. They come here to leave it better than it was. Every bird, when they come and they leave for whichever time they pass in this planet, they plant so many seeds. They poop becomes fertilizers, you know. So I think that even the little worm, when they passing through life, they leaving good shit behind. Why can't we pass through this life and leave
man.
good shit behind too? You know, I think
That's what it's about, man.
yeah, passing through this life and leaving a legacy of abundance behind. You know, and I think that what you do, what I do, and so many people out there, we're just trying to learn a little bit more and share a little bit of what we know.
That's it.
And get more people inspired to do more at their own space, you know, and there's so much space for everyone to do it, and I believe that the more the better.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Thank you so much, Thiago. You inspire me so much.
Oh, happy days, man.
Yeah. Let's check out the farm. We are nature. Much love, everybody. See you next time.
Thank you.